Welcome everyone to the side table. I don't know what episode this is.
This is episode 27.
Thank you, guy who edits podcasts. I hope all is well. How are you, Joshua?
I'm good. It's the weekend, so it's a great time.
Oh, yes, it is the weekend. So this is going to sound kind of shitty of me, but I was talking to my parents last night because Grace put together a self-home, or I don't know how you would say it. She basically put together a graduation for Katie.
Oh, okay.
At home, and I joined in with Sarah popping in via Zoom. And so, like, Katie got her picture taken with me on the I was on the iPad, and she's on it. It's pretty funny. So we did that, but I was talking to my mom afterwards, and she's like, "Yeah, what do you got planned for the weekend?" And I'm like, "Okay, the only thing I have to do on Sunday is clean. Saturday, I'm doing nothing. I'm just gonna wake up. I'm gonna play video games, and then." Just that's the day. And so I'm going to bed last night, and I just am like, fuck, I gotta record the podcast tomorrow, and then
and you're doing D&D stuff too, aren't you?
Yeah, and then I'm doing a meetup with Ashley. Fuck, I got shit going on, and I still got shit going on, and I just wanted to share that. Again, didn't want to sound like I was a shitty person, but
No, yeah, I understand that when you're looking forward to a weekend of doing, or a day even of doing nothing, and then you're like, oh, never mind, I have plans for all of that.
Yep, I have to do stuff. So I spent this morning, I woke up and Sarah made some waffles. I made coffee. That was my extent of helping with breakfast.
Of course.
And I played some Elder Scrolls, and then I did my cleaning for tomorrow, so I don't have to do anything tomorrow. I'm setting myself up for success.
Good man. I woke up this morning, and all I've been doing all morning is sneezing. So I spent my morning vacuuming the whole house and doing a little bit of dusting here and there.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like, this is the worst.
Yeah, that really sucks. I've just been congested. I don't know when it started, but I've been super congested for quite some time, at least the whole duration of the quarantine.
That is very unfortunate.
It really sucks. So I have to, at the end of the day when I'm not like doing things, or at the end of my work day, I throw on a nose strip just so I can
Breathe during the night.
breathe through my nose. And I see like a nasty hair just chilling on my blanket right now.
Don't look at it. Don't make eye contact.
Oh God, living with Sarah, there's so much hair. It's everywhere, and it always ends up in clumps, which is even for some reason just more gross to me, just clumps of
Just like a rat's nest of hair, basically.
Oh yeah. And she doesn't take her hair out of the drain after she showers, so I pull like a small puppy out of the
drain every time you
the
clean.
drain every morning. Well, no, just right before I shower.
Oh, just so it'll actually work.
Yeah, and it's nasty. It's so gross. Outside of that, what have you been up to, Joshua? How's your week been?
That's been all right. It's mostly been a go to work, come home, and just online for a couple hours. I went grocery shopping yesterday, like I mentioned. My bi-weekly grocery shopping trip.
I've been trying to postpone
that as much as you can.
Yeah, we try to postpone it just because of just exposure and
Right.
that.
Aside from that, I spent the morning cleaning, and I didn't make coffee. Ashley made coffee this morning, and just kind of chilling on the couch.
Oh yeah. What time did you wake up?
Around 8.
Yeah, I've realized that when I wake up, I kind of have to like sit in bed for 15 minutes before my brain starts to
ready.
Yeah, I just have to kind of like literally sit there. Like I always try to get up when my alarm goes off, but
Hmm.
I just unless I have to be somewhere, like we're leaving for the airport or we have to leave, at a certain time to get somewhere, I'll wake up and I'll be a slug, shuffling around, but um yeah, it's just
You're not
it's
100% awake until then.
yeah, and then Sarah's able to just kind of do it. Um though
Hold
she
on, give me a
sleeps.
second.
Okay.
All right, sorry, the little bastard. She was knocking over the microphone and just rubbing all over it, making noise.
God, which one was it?
It was Luna.
Oh, that Luna.
It doesn't help that I have this mango banana smoothie, and I think she just wants that.
Did you make a smoothie?
I did.
See, I want a blender so bad.
I don't have like a legit good blender. It actually has it was one of those as seen on TV things, the magic bullet from forever ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That actually
It,
works.
yeah, and it actually works and makes like a solid, single size serving smoothie. That's why I was like 5 minutes late to this.
Last time I used that when we lived together to make salsa, it did not go over well. Like, I hated it.
I've never used it for making salsa.
It was awful. I'm glad it worked for you. I really want a blender though, because again, that's what I want my breakfast to be, is just smoothies.
Like a nice fruity smoothie
Yeah,
or whatever.
because I buy all that frozen fruit now, and on every bag, this is great in a smoothie. And I'm like, yeah, I bet
It's like
it is.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd love a nice high-powered blender. I really want a food processor.
that would be sick.
And then a stand mixer is going to be on that list too, but none of it is cheap.
No, I added a blender to my wish list. I've added a lot of household stuff to my wish list on Amazon just because.
Because you find yourself thinking, oh, I could really use this and that, and sure, you could buy it, but it'd be expensive all at once.
No, I've been spending my money on a lot of video games. Like a lot. I bought the whole Resident Evil franchise except 3 and 7 for
Oh, geez.
PS4. It was all on sale. It cost me a total of $40.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. I bought when the quarantine started, I bought Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then Sekiro for, oh god, it was like buy two get like the third free, and that I think was 40 or $50.
That's
And
not
then-
terrible.
No, and then why do I feel like I bought something else?
Well,
Oh,
you have an ongoing ESO subscription now.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I bought the subscription to that. I almost bought, after we were done playing the last time we played together, I almost bought Greymore. Because when you go out of, exit the game, then and the launcher pops up, it says something along the lines of "Hurry and act now for these pre-order bonuses," and I'm like, oh no, I gotta hurry. And so I'm like looking at it and I'm like about to buy it. And I'm like, they just fucking said this just so I could buy it, And
They did. You do get a couple of okay things. I think it's mostly like mounts and pets, but
yeah, there's some cool Death Hound and Death Hound pet and Death Hound mount if you buy the collector's edition. But it's like $80. Oh, that's what it was. I bought The Last of Us Part 2, the deluxe edition, and that was
So that
$80.
was like 80.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't buy Greymore yet, was because I already spent
Gotcha.
$80 on a game, which I've told you this, but for the viewers, listeners, when the first Last of Us came out, it came out the day before I left for my vacation in the UP. So I played as much as I could. I wanted to like finish the game in one night, but I was just like too tired. And when I went to go save, this save bit's a side note. I had like the really minuscule glitch that prevented your game from saving. So I had to restart when I got back. But The Last of Us Part 2 was delayed indefinitely at the beginning of April due to the pandemic, but they announced, a release for June. And so the June release date ends up being on the day I leave for vacation to the UP again, which is just like, how big of a coincidence is that?
That is funny. How many years apart is it on the games? Like 7 years?
Something like that. I want to say it came out in like 2013 or 2015. I want to say it was like an odd year. I'm looking it up real quick.
I know it's been a while.
Because it was on PS3.
Right.
Oh,
it was right around when the PS4 came out, I think.
Was June 14th, 2013.
2013. So
it was right before,
almost 7 years on the day.
Yeah, it was right before the PS4 came out, because this was like the peak of showing what the PS3 could do, and then that's
Right.
what like really hyped people for what the PS4 could do. And then when the PS4 came out a couple years after
It
the
wasn't
original,
even a couple years after.
Well, no, I meant I was trying to formulate my
sorry.
thought while I was talking.
I was interrupting you.
No, you're good. A couple years after the first release of Last of Us 1, like 2 or 3, I think, I want to say it might have been 2, maybe 3 might be more correct. They had the remastered version with, updated graphics and all that. That was for the PS4. But I'm very excited for that game. I haven't seen anything for it besides like the first trailer they released. And they just dropped a new story trailer on, earlier this week. And I haven't watched it. And then also the story for the game has been leaked.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so I don't want to go on the internet.
Just have it all spoiled for you.
Oh yeah, that game looks so good, and like the first one was so good. I'm buying it day of release. I feel like that has to, say something about
how excited you are.
Yeah, because I rarely buy games on release dates. Rarely. They have to.
Or even pre-ordered, for that matter.
Yeah, pre-ordered. I rarely do that.
What was the last game you pre-ordered?
Last game
before this?
I pre-ordered? Oh, shit.
The last one I'm aware of is probably not the correct answer, because I'm thinking like Skyrim.
I think the last one I actually pre-ordered was Andromeda.
You pre-ordered Andromeda?
Yeah, because I didn't think it would suck.
No.
And it was Mass Effect.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm over it. I'm still on the fence. If it wasn't a Mass Effect game, Andromeda would be good, because it would be, I wouldn't carry this weight of Mass Effect.
Right, you wouldn't have had those expectations going in, and like we finished the game.
Yeah, I beat it.
We sunk like 50 hours into it at least.
Oh yeah, like I actually beat it and like did everything. So I have the right to say it sucked, and I wish it wasn't real. Yeah, I think that was the last game though I pre-ordered. And
that
it was
2016.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe even 2017.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's been years.
Yeah, but
hold on. You haven't pre-ordered a Pokemon game in that time?
Oh shit! Yeah, Pokemon.
You pre-ordered Sun and Shield, Sword and Shield.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Sword and Shield.
You bought the combo.
Oh yeah, because I got Sarah the thing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about Pokemon. Probably because I didn't finish it.
I can't believe it, man.
I can.
You have to at least like finish the part so we can do whatever the things are in the wild area, because I've played lots of the game too.
The raids?
That's what they are.
Yeah.
Raid like things.
I don't I don't know. So I was like really excited for it, and it's still good, but the fact that they didn't include all of the Pokédex, in the fact also that they're adding DLC to it to include more of the Pokemon they excluded, so we have to pay for the Pokemon we want.
Right, notably a paid DLC.
Um, that really, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's the same thing with, you know, the whole story about the Final Fantasy VII remake, right?
A little bit.
Where it, for those of you who don't know or who are not involved in the gaming world at all, the Final
Why
Fantasy.
are you listening to this?
Well, I mean, I'm.
Hi, but
Yeah, right.
how'd you
Hi.
get here? I'm curious. Let us know.
Yeah, put it in the comment section below. Final Fantasy VII was a phenomenal game. It was a benchmark for its time. It was on PlayStation 1. It got remade. I should say it's getting remade because what Square Enix did is they divided Final Fantasy VII, the remake, into parts, into episodes. So it's divided into no one knows how many episodes, and they're coming out like every however many years apart, and they're all $60. Like, just to get more money. I think it's just they're making a franchise out of a game that's a singular thing, and I just think that's awful.
It is. It's a really scummy tactic.
It is very scummy, and then it doesn't help that people are just like 10 out of 10 of the remake. It's so good, blah blah blah. blah. You know,
It's like, yeah, the game might be good, but
where's the rest?
Right, you're not paying for the whole game. The whole move to these like constant paid DLCs for a game is a little frustrating. I understand the need for like ongoing funding to like maintain support, but you know, maybe bake that into the original price of the game, or go the way of MMOs where you can subscribe maybe to some of a game, but
right. Well, it's not even DLC. They're charging.
Right, this is a
pay like $60 for the. I know you're talking about other games. I'm sorry. I was just
right. No. I understand. This is a different situation entirely, where they're just absolutely like, well, I know we used to sell this game as one whole thing, but now it's like 4 parts, and that's going to cost you $240 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's just upsetting how just money is.
Well, especially since they didn't mention that in anything leading up to the release.
Yeah, they I mean, like, it was like, I know they mentioned it like a couple times, like this isn't the full stuff like that, and I didn't pay too much attention to it because I don't really care about
the game,
but the fact that they're trying to squeeze as much money as they can out of their consumers.
And then it sets a precedent for the rest of the publishers.
Yeah. And it's just like, are they going to make any more Final Fantasy games now? Because Final Fantasy VII, if they're making a full game for each part, they're not going to do anything new. They're just going to focus solely on this. And then, like, at that point, it's just, where's the originality in your creation? You're just recreating. And I know Final Fantasy VII apparently the first part is a phenomenal remake. Like, I've heard that, and I've seen it. Like, I've seen it compared to the other one in that. But the whole point is the principle of the matter of squeezing as much as you can out of a product until it's bone dry. And I mean, a kid could start playing this game at like the age of 10 and potentially not finish the whole game until
they're an adult.
Yeah, like 30 or something. Like, how messed up is that? Just fucking chain locking someone into a cycle like that, I think, is awful, and it's just like unethical to me. But it's whatever. I'm not gonna play it. It's just upsetting.
That's one of those remakes. If it was just $60 for the game, I would have bought it when it went on sale.
Oh, for sure.
The way it is, I will not buy it now.
No, and I want to play. That's why when Final Fantasy VII, the original, on Switch was on sale for like $7. I bought it because I'm just like, okay,
Hmm.
eventually one day I will play this so I can say, I've played Final Fantasy VII, and experienced this phenomenal story that's impacted so many people. Uh, that yeah, no, again, it's sad. um, oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, uh, so this week I've been through a roller coaster of emotions. I want that known. I have watched and like played various things that have just made me. I've had a lot of reflection, especially in this pandemic,
Hmm.
just reflecting on everything. And it kind of started with this, and it's going to be my recommendation at the end of the episode. But I forget the title, of course.
You can't forget the title of your recommendation.
I know. I want to say it's like If You Say or something, but I don't think it is. Hold on. Hold on. Just stop. Oh, where are you? Where? It's called A Secret Love. It's on Netflix, and it's about a lesbian couple who have been in a relationship for over 70 years. And it's phenomenal. And one of the individuals in the one of the ladies that are in the relationship reminded me of my grandma who passed away, and that sent me on a whole thing when I was watching it.
Right,
And
just a
then,
well up of emotion.
oh yeah, and then I, and then that was followed up by, I wish I wrote this down step by step. Uh, oh, I think, did the whole Georgia thing happen afterwards? Like that shooting in Georgia,
I'm not sure. I can't remember what.
and then like just shit coming from there, and then like from people about like the stay at home order and that. So I went from immediately being sad and somber and reflective to just enraged in the matter of 12 hours, and it was awful. And
Hmm.
then I watched and this is where I just kind of like snapped is I don't know if this has been happening to you on YouTube, but whenever you load up YouTube, it goes to like this main home page of like hashtag with us or something. I don't know what their whole thing is on YouTube.
Oh no,
Um,
I haven't had that issue.
it's I'll pull it up right now. So
I guess the link I click for YouTube is like direct to my subscription box. So
let me. It's like on there. Yeah, it's hashtag with me, and it's no. I get so mad when I hear that jingle. It's their homepage, and it's get by hashtag with me, and it's just loaded with just things for people to do in the um,
in
during the
their spare time,
pandemic. Yeah,
basically.
during this whole thing. And it's just so frustrating because it always pops up, and it's just like constant and like nonstop, just like yeah, it gets better, la 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 la, and then you deal with. Oh, and then I watched a whole thing about celebrities during this time, and it was someone doing a analysis on at the beginning of this pandemic when all those celebs started singing that one song and posted it on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
It was an
It's like, yeah,
analysis.
you totally understand me.
Yeah, analysis on that, and it started with Gal Gadot or or Godot or whatever her name is. She plays Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
She's just like it starts with like a shot of her just like 6 days in quarantine, and you just see like her fucking mansion in the background, and then it like cuts to Arnold Schwarzenegger in his hot tub out in LA, private hot tub with a cigar, and people, and then it goes back to Gal, Godot saying, I'm not going to take private jets anymore because of their harm on the environment. And then she takes a private jet during quarantine
Did
somewhere
she
to like
really?
yeah, yeah. And then it's just like things like that. And again, I wish I wrote them all down, but I really didn't want to. I guess in hindsight, I'm glad I didn't.
Just so you wouldn't become angry at it again.
Yeah, and then, uh, but it was just about how people just are so like they don't understand that the whole stay at home thing and this pandemic thing just is for your own good. It's for like the public health, and people don't realize that, like their pride just gets in the way when you take away their material things that don't fucking matter. Like they don't fucking matter, and they just go and complain about how I remembered what it was, Joshua. What really set me on edge. I was talking to my boss, and we were talking about, she brought up a thing about, because she lives in Flint, and she was talking about the experience that's happening in Flint, because the people in Flint have been through hell and back with the Flint water crisis. And
right,
now,
which has been going on for years now.
For years. And then now this. She was, describing how like the people in Flint now just have been dealt so much shit that they don't care. Like they don't care. It's become harder to help them. It's just become hard to live there. And I don't know if it was like Monday or Sunday or something, but a security guard at like a Family Dollar told a mother and her daughter that in order to come into the store, you need a mask. You need to wear a mask to protect the people in here, to protect the people, to protect yourself. And the mother was wearing a mask, but not the daughter. So, like, what the hell? And then they go back. The daughter and the mother go back to their house, tell the husband, father, what happened. The husband, father comes back with another man and murders the security guard point blank. Jesus. in family video at the Family Dollar. And this is in Flint. And that so is outspoken the correct word? Like, give me the definition of outspoken real quick, Joshua.
Just in terms of a person, or
yeah,
I would say an outspoken person is somebody who just speaks what they think without really necessarily checking that, or changing that, what they have to say based on who they're around.
Okay, so that's not me. So what I was going to say was, I don't express, except on this podcast, which if you've been a reoccurring listener, you know, but I don't express my opinion about anything outside of like you and Sarah and then this podcast, but like in family, I just don't, or at work or anything. But she was telling me about this, and then I just spun into this whole thing about like, about race, my stance on race and things like that. And then I went and looked up, after we were done talking, I went and looked up like this whole article, this whole situation. I watched this video, and it was about, the mayor or the commissioner, I don't know, of someone in Flint addressing the murder. And a comment below, and this is, I remember it. It was some person blaming the governor for this murder because what she's doing, protecting the public health, is actually her fear-mongering the entire population of Michigan, so she has complete control of what's going on in the state. And that just
Just such a short-sighted, self-absorbed opinion to have.
yeah, and that just really just sent me on a whole thing. Like I think that was like Thursday and Friday. I was just I was so fed up with it, you know? It's just awful. And it's just like just so mad at people all the time now. It's ridiculous.
It sounds like you need to take like a week off from the internet.
Oh my god.
Just like no news, no YouTube, no Twitter.
Yeah, I need if I had health insurance and therapy was covered by health insurance in this
Yeah, how dumb is that?
fucking
That health insurance
country.
barely covers anything with regards to therapy.
Uh if I, if everything lined up, I want to go to therapy. I want to go to therapy so bad. I want to so bad because I know it's going to help me. I'm not going to be just angry at the fucking world all the time. But I can't because of the systems in place, man. Like it's frustrating as
It's expensive.
hell. It's so expensive.
Even with health coverage, when I went, it was still like a $20 or $30 copay each time. And if you're going once a week, you're spending $150 a month.
Yeah, on something that is helping you in the long run, like making you a better person and helping
And is-
you. Like
Right,
why?
and it's a legit like medical need.
Yeah, and why do people put a price on helping? You know that it's always that's a thing that frustrates me the most, especially now. Is did I tell you about the guy I snapped at in Aldi?
You did not know.
So this was a couple weeks ago. This is when it was snowing pretty hard, and I had to walk, to Aldi with all these. We'll come back from Aldi with all these groceries, and I'm like in snow gear, and it was just like, oh, it was awful. It was just you're just slipping in the snow, and you're carrying just like 2 weeks worth of groceries.
Right, and you're miserable and pissed. And
Yeah.
just want to be home.
And so in Aldi, they've divided the aisles into basically like streets.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now I'm curious about that.
yes.
Do you want me to come back to it, or do you want to do it now?
Oh no, we can do it now.
Okay, so they recently started doing like one-way aisles here in Meyer. Are they one-way aisles there, or have they like legit split it down the middle and have it one way and the other?
It's at Aldi. It's split like exactly like a road. Like they have arrows pointing on each side of the aisle or shelves, pointing which direction you're supposed to be going. In Meyer here, I haven't seen anything for that, which I'm incredibly surprised that, especially living in a much bigger bigger populace, than Big Rapids, why we haven't done that.
Well, they just started it recently. Like when I went yesterday was the first time I saw it. But they had each individual aisle was like a one-way aisle, so you could basically zigzag through all of the aisles. And lots of people weren't following it, and there were even a couple of employees who were like walking down the aisles, like inventorying stuff, and they're walking the completely opposite way.
Yeah, and well, see, that's another thing is if it's in place, if the system's in place and it's meant to, help be efficient, to help follow the guidelines of like social distancing, to help with this whole pandemic, and people are just assuming they can do whatever they want and not pay attention to it. Like that's what's wrong, that's what's messed up. Even when we were in Meyer last, Sarah started doing it and I was with her and I'm like, no,
we're going to follow the rules.
No, if there's a fucking sign right in front of us that says follow this way to line, we are taking it. And she's like, no, Patrick, this is, calm down. I'm like, no, we can't assume that we can do what we want. We're so entitled and so just not grateful for what we have. We just fucking take advantage of what we can, and it's awful, and I hate it, and it's angering. Anyway, let me finish my Aldi thing, and then we can go back to something else. So I'm following this guy down the aisle in Aldi. Oh, Joshua, I just want to apologize in advance. I've been clipping a couple times because I've been getting really into it. So
That's all right. I'll normalize the audio.
I apologize. Um, so I'm following this guy, and first he stops at the spice rack in front of me in Aldi. So like I'm waiting for him to move so I can continue my shopping, spree, what have you.
Relatively
And
safely without, stepping on people.
yeah, and then there's like people on the other side, so I can't just squeeze and go
Swing around.
around. And he's taking his sweet time at the spice rack, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's just like he can't see. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to be mindful. I'm trying to express empathy towards this man. And then he goes to the toilet paper and he takes one package. And I'm like, okay. Then I see he takes two packages, and I'm like, okay, he might have a family, like a big family. Then he takes three packages. I'm like, okay, I won't say anything because he probably just wants three. Maybe he feels like he needs it. Goes and reaches for the fourth one, and I just say, Jesus, dude, just take one. And then he looks at me and then immediately cuts across the aisle and goes away. I I was just in a time like this, we turn to hoarding, we turn to preserving oneself and protecting oneself, one's family. And I get that. I understand that. But at the same time, the only way we're going to beat this and get through this is by working and helping each other. And if we're just out for ourselves, like we are most of the time, this is going to be a whole shit show. And it's already a shit show, but it's going to be a bigger shit show, man. It's going to be awful.
I feel you there. Does Aldi not limit the number that you can buy?
They do on eggs and I think hand soap was what I saw.
But not toilet paper?
No, there wasn't one on toilet paper. They do limit them at Meijer.
Right. Yep.
But it was hand soap and whatever I said first.
Eggs.
That at the time I was there is what they were limiting.
Did he end up grabbing the fourth one then, or did he just GTFO?
He GTFO'd because I was pretty
Because you
loud.
confronted him.
I was pretty loud. I was just, and that's what I've realized that. I think you might have had it. You might have had this realization after you've like moved and had your own house, and that once you step out of like your parents' shadow or out of, people's shadow, and you're like trying to just navigate life in this, predictable way, and then you leave and you're in your own space, and then you realize like, why have I been neglecting like my views and my opinion, when someone says something and you just kind of do the whole butterfly effect and you just stand by, like why have I been doing that, and that was like the big turning point where I'm just like, if something's fucked up or someone's saying something stupid, I'm going to say something.
Gonna call them out.
Yeah, because I feel like what is the word? I just read about it. It's like, for example, when you're an advocate, being an advocate means to take a stand for someone who won't or can't do it themselves. And when you're talking about helping someone out and there's someone like taking toilet paper that's someone who might need it, instead, and it's just like doing the little things, like, yeah, it's just, we can change topic now. I'm getting too mad.
That's all right. Give us that bird update. How are the birds?
The bird update. There is this. I'm in my bedroom right now, so I don't have my bird book with me. But bird update. The birds are pretty good. I haven't seen Arthur or Arnold recently. Well, Arthur's like come a little bit, here and there, but not as much as he has been recently, or had.
Hold on now.
What?
Maybe Arthur and Arnold are gay lovers and they have a nest with baby birds in them.
I dearly hope so. I dearly hope so. Speaking of nests, we have a
It's about that time of year, isn't it?
oh yeah, we have a couple outside our window who have taken.
This is a bird couple, right?
Yes, a bird couple.
You're not creeping on a human couple outside your
Oh
window.
no, trust me, we're still on the but bird update. This bird couple, they have a nest in one of the vents in the building that's like kitty corner from my window. And when I say kitty corner, it's literally like 10 feet. You can see them like go into the vent, and that's where their nest is in that.
Okay.
I forget the bird's name, and do you mind if I go grab my book real quick?
What does the bird look like?
It's this sleek bird that can be mistaken for a woodpecker, and it's kind of spotted. It like has all these little polka dots.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Their beak changes color depending on the season, which I thought was pretty neat. But they are super aggressive to other birds. They've been known to go into other birds' nests and murder their young and like smash eggs and stuff.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. And one of them, and they've like minded their own business in the back. Like we have this giant tree right outside our window where they kind of, hang out and do their bird stuff. But they also have a similar call to the uncommon grackle, the one that Arthur is, or whatever that one is called.
Yeah, the Greckle.
Yeah, but now one of the spotted birds has been coming to the bird feeder and has been a real asshole, like a huge asshole to the other birds. Like Arnold Arnold and Arthur are pretty big for their size, but they're not aggressive. They just like don't know how big they are. So when they fly into the bird feeder, they just all their weight like slams the bird feeder into the window and all that. But this bird just like stabs and just pecks at all the other birds that try to get food until he goes away. But I did witness I don't know what birds they were, but they were like two little birds. I think I was playing. Ooh, I might have been playing like ESO by myself for a little bit, or doing something at the computer, and I hear a smash into the window next to me, and I look over, and these two little birds are just like going at it, just going to town on each other, and I had to scare them away because I did not want to deal with a dead bird body. I didn't want to deal with. That would
be a little awkward.
Oh yeah, especially when we live on like
a rough week for it too.
Oh yeah, especially when we live on like the third floor balcony. I'd have to like carry that bird like
just like drop it down onto your neighbor's balcony.
Oh my god, I've done that so many times on accident.
Just drop on the neighbors below you.
Oh yeah, like we'll have when it rains, like the bucket we have has a lid on it, like that'll fill up with water. So I'll like go to dump it, or if we have the chairs out, I'll go to dump the chairs, but after I dump them, the water goes right through our patio on top of the other like our neighbor's patio right below us. And every time I don't think of, and so far they haven't been out when I've done it.
Thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully. But every time I don't think about checking until after I've done it, and I'm like, oh shit. And I like peer over and like no one's there. But thankfully I've now acknowledged it and realized it. But God, like just imagine you're just like drinking your coffee and then
some jackass.
I would feel so bad if I did that to someone. I would
feel really bad too.
I would run down and I'd be like, yo, I'll make you coffee, like like I'm so sorry. I would feel so bad. And then we would spark a lifelong friendship. Maybe that's how that works.
Or they would just like slam the door in your face and grumble.
Yeah. Or they would like trudge upstairs and knock on my door, be like, "Yo, what the?"
Yeah, that's probably what would happen.
I'll be like, "Sorry, dude. I'm sorry."
Is this woodpecker-like bird a northern flicker? Does that sound right?
I'd have to see a picture, but that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're spotted. They've got like this black crescent on their neck, and like red and black markings on their face.
And you said a northern flicker?
Yes.
It is not a northern flicker.
Okay.
It's oh god, I'd have to look at my bird book, but I've really enjoyed my dad
The
said
bird watching.
yeah, my dad said, "You know you're really old when you just enjoy watching birds." I'm like, "God damn it."
Ashley and I were just talking earlier about how you're an old man trapped in a young man's body.
Oh my god. I got we were talking on Discord and she brought up me being an old man and I'm like, I'm kind of sick of people doing that, like just making assumptions and like giving me shit for it. And then what does she do right after that? She gives me shit for it. And I'm like, I'm done talking. I'm done talking for today. I'm done. Yeah. No, again, I understand, and I take I guess this week it's been really hard to take a joke. Let me just say that right now.
I understand those.
And I know she was doing it in like lighthearted fun, and I know she likes to be a turd. But I was just like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'm done talking to you. I need a detox because I got to chat with you tomorrow about, about stuff.
Telling you just need like that week off the internet. Don't look at the news. Don't look at YouTube.
I need a.
Don't watch anything but comedies.
Oh my god, yeah, right. I can't wait for my vacation, like, so bad. Cause, well, a lot of my job now, I have to constantly be on the computer and like constantly upload to YouTube, and do. Yeah, no, I know. Oh god, I'm a hot mess. Hot mess, man.
At least you're hot.
Hey, well, thank you. How are you? This podcast has been a lot about me today. I apologize.
No, that's all right. I'm solid. The week's been really slow. I was talking to one of the guys in our training group, and I'm just like, is it just me, or could this thing have been like 2 or 3 days top? And he's like, yes, thank you. Because it wasn't so bad the first week, but by the time the second week rolled around, like, I'm just like on my phone the entire time because we're just reviewing the same stuff we did in the first 2 days. And it's like, oh.
Are you still in like separate rooms from your instructor and all that?
Yeah. And next week will be a little bit different. We're basically just listening in on like a mentor's calls and going through the motions of creating the tickets and performing the troubleshooting and what have you. But still, we're doing 2 weeks of that too, and that's going to get old very quickly.
Oh my god. And you don't know when the end time is for training yet, do you?
I've got a pretty good estimate. We're supposed to be doing 2 weeks of that, and then we're supposed to have a week or two back in the classroom. That's what we're told anyway. So we'll see.
So 6 weeks of training.
Yeah, it's rough. But hey, if they want to spend that much paying me to train me, I guess.
Yeah, see, and that's like the thing too. It's like, no offense to you, but like that money could be dumped somewhere else,
Oh yeah, no kidding. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what
like they are spending thousands of dollars just in my pay
just
for training.
Yeah.
Not to mention the trainer's pay.
Or, anyone else's.
Yeah. Like yeah, there's like 12 of us. And one of the guys in our group is a supervisor as well. So they're paying, like 11 or 12 of us plus a supervisor pay for 6 weeks or more. Just for training.
That's so sad, but
like, I mean, that's got to be like 50 or 60 grand at least over a couple weeks.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I'm glad that you're getting paid and stuff, but it's like just playing devil's advocate is
It's a waste.
it is, and it's just like really like especially when you could do this all online, especially like when you first told me what you guys were doing like the first day, and you're just like, why can't we be doing
Remote
this
for this.
remotely, and I don't know, just the thought process of a lot of people is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Outside of that, have you been playing anything fun?
Not too much. We picked up a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online the other day. And I hopped on a little bit yesterday and this morning because I wanted to do a different class.
Uh-huh.
So I went with Warden instead. So I have an Argonian Warden now that I leveled up at least to level 10.
Ooh.
So when we do play, I'm not severely behind in levels.
You might be now.
I did see you were on this morning and you're like level 17. So
Yeah.
I have some work to do.
I forgot to log on yesterday to claim
Snag
my
that daily.
yeah, because I think now I have to wait an extra day for like that 10K in gold.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I started to play Resident Evil 2, the remake, because I beat Resident Evil 1, and the Resident Evil 2 remake is phenomenal. It's so good, and it's terrifying. It's so, so terrifying.
Worse than Dead Space terrifying?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, because now I can play Dead Space now and be fine.
But is that only because you're familiar with it?
It's because I'm familiar with it, and it has set piece moments for jump scares. That's kind of like
does.
that's what I personally feel like Dead Space 1 was like. It was timed jump scares in a new kind of setting. Resident Evil 2, on the other hand, has done survival horror, I think, I want to say like the best you can. So I'm going to take over the podcast again, so apologize to people, and to you, Joshua.
I mean, it is your podcast.
Well, I mean, you're part of it too.
I'm here as a sounding board.
What would you say?
I said I'm here as a sounding board.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you.
Also, this is going to cost you $80 per visit. Don't worry, I'll send you an invoice.
All right.
Backdated to like January.
Okay. All right. Cool. So it's survival horror, and unlike in Resident Evil 1, well, so I played on normal difficulty in Resident Evil 1, and I felt like I had more than enough ammo to kind of make my way. It was, pretty easy playing on
That's
normal.
what I hate the most about survival horrors.
Is the ammo, like conserving ammo.
The ammo situation and how helpless you feel.
Oh, it gets trust me.
I don't play games to feel bad about myself. I don't know why you do this to yourself.
It's because it's the experience, because I wouldn't be able to get this experience without playing this game, without playing a game. That's why games are so cool, is because I couldn't get this experience or this feeling
in life,
in real life. I mean, that's why we play games, that's why we like, I even had that feeling, because I thought I was going to finish the prologue this morning for Elsewhere, but I did not. But, the feeling of like uncovering these artifacts to find a demon weapon to end a civil war that's tearing apart a continent is so cool. You're not going to be able to do that in real life. You're not going to. It's just, you're not going to be able to. And being a rookie cop on their first day dealing with a zombie outbreak, I'm never gonna feel that,
Right.
But this I haven't played the original Resident Evil 2, and I won't, because after playing this one, I just, you know.
And those early games just always have terrible controls.
Oh yeah, so they have tank controls. The OG games do,
Right.
and the Resident Evil remake lets you choose between the new control set and the tank control set if you want to.
Okay. Relive the experience.
Yeah, relive that, because for people who don't know, tank controls are to help amplify that fear of helplessness and not being in total control of what's happening on screen. But that's not the case in Resident Evil 2, the remake. It's normal, relevant third person shooting controls, but the ammo is so scarce. You actually cannot kill every zombie that you come across. You have to juke, you have to dodge, you have to avoid and pick and choose
And
who
hide.
you want to what you want to kill or not. And I'm getting chills thinking about this right now, because this was there's one moment, Joshua, where I screamed. It gave me a headache because I was so startled. So Resident Evil is kind of like revitalized like my love for gaming. Like, I was kind of just feeling like I was slugging along, especially with Bloodborne, because we just kind of
Playing
again
it over and over.
play the same game over and over. Yeah. And the one thing I loved about Resident Evil was you get, for example, you get to like your safe room where you save, and you have your trunk, and you have all the access to all your items, and you can only carry so much because your inventory is so limited. And then you have to store stuff in your trunk, and then you have to travel across. In the first one, you have to travel across through this mansion to discover things and yada yada. So you end up pulling out the map, and you have to make. And this is what I love about games and it reminds me of when I first played Oblivion, is the feeling of going on and like setting to go on like a quest or an adventure, like preparing for it. Like, the preparing stage is so epic, because you're just like, okay, I'm probably gonna come across a zombie, so I'm gonna have X amount of bullets for my handgun. But what if I come across a liquor? Okay, then I'll need my shotgun, and I'll have to bring X amount of ammunition. I'll bring a healing thing in case I need to be healed. I'll bring maybe an antidote. I'll bring this one of these puzzle pieces in case I stumble across it. You're mapping out and preparing for an adventure, for like this, this quest, and it's like the thrill is like so cool. So at the beginning of spoiler alerts for Resident Evil 2. Do you mind if I tell you this, Joshua? I mean, you
Go for it.
Okay, so Resident Evil 2, the remake. I don't know about the original. Starts off like how Resident Evil 1 is, where you're exploring the police station, the Raccoon City police station, and you're uncovering things, so you're trying to find a way out to get out of Raccoon City to avoid this pandemic, this this whole outbreak. And you're navigating the police station. The zombies are there, but you become familiar with the police station. It becomes manageable. And then they throw in these lickers, which are these things that crawl on their arms and legs and like crawl on ceilings and stuff. And they're terrifying, but there's only X amount in the game. So there's a finite amount of these creatures you're going to stumble across. So when you kill one, you've made a dent actually in the population of the lickers. So,
Right.
so if there's like 4 or 5, I've killed 2, there's 3 left. And you can map and remember where they're at. So in the whole map, which areas are safe, which ones you should avoid, which ones you should cut across. So like maybe like a fourth of the way through the game, a huge monkey wrench gets thrown into your plan.
Your plans.
So you're going. So while you're running around the police station, a helicopter crashes into the building, and it prevents you from going, as to a specific way. So you end up finding a way to uh, circumvent that. And so you're going down. After you do that, you found this way to continue, because what you wanted to do was the helicopter's on fire, so you wanted to to dump water on it is what you end up doing to put the fire out, so you can cross through that way. Okay. And you end up going that way, and as you're rounding the corner, you see part of a hand come out of like the tail of the helicopter and just like shove and crumple the helicopter into the wall. And this giant hulking beast called Mr. X, or the Tyrant, just starts walking towards you like this force of destruction. And I'm just like, fuck this. And so you're just like, what do I do? I gotta dodge.
Run.
So you run, and he just follows you. That's all he does. So the rest of the game, while you're navigating this, what was familiar and safe to you, this place, you are constantly hounded by this guy. And it gets even worse. The sound design in this game is superb. So you can be in a room, and then you can hear in the distance is that footsteps, and then you hear the fucker's footsteps getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and then they fade away, and you're like, oh, thank God they're gone. And then the door to that room opens, and he just steps right in. And
that is panic inducing.
It is, and it gets worse. So in the police department, the main area, like the front desk area, your first like safe spot of the game, is like your safe haven. Like no zombies ever follow you. Nothing ever follows you or gets into this area. So I escape from, Mr. X, and I'm saving, I'm loading my stuff or whatever, and I hear like the footsteps in the distance. I'm like, it's okay, he's not going to come in here. Then I hear a door open, and the fucker's on the balcony coming down the stairs towards me. Your safe area is not safe anymore. Like, they totally like, because in every horror game, there's a safe spot where you're not going to be attacked. This is a spot to catch up. But that they just introduce him, and it's just relentless. It just is nonstop. Like, you pull up your map, you have to plan out your route, and you have to fucking stick to it to get to point A to point B to do. And it was just, it's so good. Like how they designed the game and how it's set up. It is so good. I'm so happy I'm playing these games, but I'm so sad I have to play it because it's so panic inducing,
uncomfortable,
which is what sparked me to play more Elder Scrolls. Is to, when you watch a horror movie, you watch a comedy afterwards to calm down.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's why another reason I picked up ESO is just like, I gotta
have a relax.
I gotta detox. This. Yeah, and again, it's a game that we can play together. So, but oh my God, it's like, I can't describe like the first moment when he just like popped in and I didn't expect it and I was in a safe spot. That's when I screamed, and I just was like, I wasn't ready for it. And I gave myself a headache. I just was like, I have a headache now. I screamed too loud.
You hurt your own ears.
It's intense. It's just, it makes you realize when you're like playing this, you're like, there's so many games out there, there's so much stuff out there that I've just neglected or just refused to do, that I've yet to uncover. And when I uncover it, it's like this beautiful thing. Like I don't know what got me turned on Resident Evil. I don't know I watched a guy play the first part of Resident Evil 3, and I was like, wow, this is a really cool, like, because it's topical, but I really like the whole
pandemic and the pandemic thing.
Yes, scenario. I really, really like that. It's such a cool theme. It's such a cool like story device. It's a shame. and it's happening now, but it got amplified because of that. Because I'm like, oh my god, it's an outbreak and blah, blah, blah. And uh, but since it was the third one, and the story spans
You
countless
got to start
games,
from the beginning.
but I had to start from the beginning because I didn't. Because with something like that, you didn't want to be, a poser and be like, oh yeah, I play Resident Evil. I've only played like the remake of
I've
3.
played or I've played the newest one,
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
Which is fine if that's what you enjoy.
oh yeah, but for me, I just like I feel like if you want to respect something that has a history, you start from the beginning, um, and I'm so glad I did. It's awesome. So I recommend that whoever's listening to try something like you're like, oh, I should play Legend of Zelda or something like that, and then
No, Resident Evil.
oh well, yeah, I highly recommend Resident Evil. Way over Legend of Zelda. Um, fucking Ocarina of Time. Like, I can confess to not playing it. I have played it. I've played probably like the first 5-7 hours of the game. But adventure games are so fun. But there's something about Legend of Zelda that just doesn't mesh or click with me. You know?
I think one of the things that I look for in an adventurous RPG that Zelda lacks is a real progression system. Sure, you can usually grab like a couple different swords here and there, but
Uh-huh.
there's not, doing skill points or this massive array of weapons and armor that you can find and discover in the world.
Right? And there's some parts like that in adventure games, like finding the new suit or finding, the master sword now or getting the fairy sword or what have
Right.
you. But no, I know what you get. I know what you mean with like the whole like cemented numeric value of stats and how important that is to it because it documents progression,
Mm-hmm.
You're visually seeing progression go up versus my knowledge of the game, which is just something that you have, or skill with the game, something you have. That's why I think the Soulsborne series does a really good job of that, especially like Bloodborne, because Bloodborne is way more action adventure than RPG like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But you still see limited stat progression. You still see progression with your weapon doing damage, and then you also see progression with your skill and knowledge of the game increase as well. So you're getting kind of a mix of both, which is why I think Bloodborne is so good, is it does that so well. But no, I totally get what you mean, and I totally going off that, I do absolutely despise when RPG elements are just tacked onto a game. Remember when that was a thing?
Yep. I can't think of any specific games, but I remember once they started getting really popular in like the Oblivion era, you'd have games that are just like, we threw in some stats.
Yeah, like Prototype was one.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, Darksiders has a little bit of it. I can't. There was one with the jetpack. It's just they were just like
I don't remember.
Like they were just tacking it on just to say, oh, we're like an action RPG. Yeah, just because it was so cool to have RPG elements for some reason.
Yeah, they were the hip in thing.
Oh, they were. But when you think of RPG, I mean, like, I think people don't realize how, like, if you're playing an actual RPG, how, like, deep it is. I mean, if you look at, for example, like Dark Souls, and you compare it to, like, a true RPG,
like your OG RPG tabletop games.
Oh, yeah, or, like, Divinity, or, like, Origins.
Mm-hmm.
How deep it is, how like deep the systems go, how they can expand into so much. It's nuts. It's insane. I'm also glad that we're at time because What I also wrote in the notes was talking about spastic YouTubers, and I really don't want to talk about that right now.
I'm telling you, just get the fuck off the internet. I'll
I
bleep that
do.
out.
um, no, again, if my job wasn't online right now, I totally would do that. But I have to. I have to make shit for school, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's why I feel like that's why I wish vacation was mandatory.
Welcome to America,
Yeah, and
where vacation is not required.
I wish fathers had paternity leave like mothers do here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had free healthcare, like, well, not free healthcare,
But covered by your tax paying.
covered by, yep. I believe that's how Canada does it.
That's how everybody does it.
I do have, we do have weed though. That's great. That's fantastic.
Well, some of us do.
Some of us have it.
Other states, not so much.
Oh. I think so. I think the true reason, this is to go back to me being an old man.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real reason why I get so mad about it is because old people just piss me off so much and how entitled they are.
Well, it's not all old people, but yes, I understand what you mean.
If you grow up in Big Rapids, Michigan, though, most of them are.
There's just that certain demographic that is.
Yeah, very apparent, and they're awful. They're terrible.
Oh,
And
I'm finally gonna have to get a new phone.
Oh, why? What happened?
Well, the last couple of days I've been going to work, and it'll be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be like, my phone's only at 30% battery. What is this at? What is this? And so it'll die before I'm even like out of work, and it's been doing this for the last couple days. And I'm like, I haven't had this phone this long. Let me look it up. I bought this phone 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was used at the time. So this phone is now 5 years old.
Holy man.
It's a Galaxy S6 for anybody wondering. And I've already replaced the battery once. So I'm like, all right, I'll just bite the bullet and get something newer.
What are you going to get?
I am eyeing a Google's Pixel 3a. I think it just came out last year.
Oh, wow.
And so you can get some like lightly used refurbished ones for like $250. And if it lasts me, another 3 or 4 years, I'll be happy with that.
That's gonna be pretty neat. Getting a new phone. That's always a little exciting.
A little bit. It's been a long time though since I've like been into phones, so it's not as exciting as it once was.
Yeah, unfortunately, but at least you're still getting a new one though.
That's right.
Anyway, recommendations.
I think you've got the recommendations covered this week.
I recommend A Secret Love on Netflix. It's that documentary about a lesbian couple who have been together for 70 years, and it chronicles their life over, I think, 5 or 6 years. It's shot by their great nephew.
Oh, so it's produced by a family member.
Yeah, because since they didn't have kids, but one of the individuals in the relationship was super, super close with her niece, because her niece was like her daughter because of the situation with the niece's mom and that. So the aunt practically raised her, and the niece's son, so the nephew, is the filmmaker who shot this over a course of however many years. It is incredible, and it's heart-wrenching, and it's a beautiful film. I highly recommend it. Do you have anything, Joshua?
I do. Once you're done being sad after watching that, followed up with a nice buddy cop film. I think I've told you to watch this, Patrick, but I don't think you have yet. Like 4 years ago.
Oh, I kind of want to guess it.
All
It's a
right, 20
but
questions.
it's a buddy cop one.
It is.
Is Dwayne Johnson in it?
No.
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 Um, buddy cop. 4 or 5 years, you said?
Yeah, it came out 4 years ago.
4 years ago. So 2016.
Yep.
Dang.
I'm counting that as a question.
Okay. Do I know the actor or actresses in it?
Yes.
Is it is it the one with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling?
That's the one. Nice
I
guys.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters actually.
Really?
Yeah, it's a terrific
Oh.
movie.
I love that movie.
It is. I'm surprised you liked it that much. You said love. You loved a piece of film. If Joshua says he likes something, you should watch that first.
Well,
Joshua's
the only reason sorry, go ahead.
Joshua is a man who is not easily impressed. So
I have like 12 movies that I own.
what was that?
I only own like 12 movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I highly recommend Joshua's recommendation. No, for sure. That's a
The only
great
reason
movie.
I thought about it was Ashley and I were chilling on the couch, and she's like, "Do you want to watch a movie?" I'm like, "Sure." So she pulls up something at random, and it was one that Ryan Gosling was in recently that I had never heard of.
Was it the
It's called
space one?
Six Undercover.
What was it called?
Six Undercover, I believe it. Six Underground.
Six Underground.
Yeah, it came out last year. It's a Michael Bay film. So,
Oh, you mean
dumb.
Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, that's who it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it made me think of Nice Guys, and I was like, I could be watching that instead of this.
Yeah. Let's watch something
Don't watch
good,
Six
actually.
Underground. It's just like a terrible, like cheesy Michael Bay action film.
Oh God.
The first 30 minutes is all one scene, and it's a car chase. It's
Oh, wow.
literally 30 minutes, and it is the opening scene.
Oh wow. See, that's like impressive by like a technical standpoint, all in one shot kind of
no,
thing.
not all in one shot, though.
Have you seen? Oh, it's not in one shot.
No, it's a Michael Bay film, so quick jump cuts.
Oh, cuts all the time. Speaking of that, have you seen Children of Men?
I have not.
Okay, this movie, I know for a fact, Joshua, and I know I hype stuff up, but I know for a fact you'll thoroughly enjoy. It's about this outbreak or something happens to where all the women on Earth they become infertile. So they can't produce, the population anymore. So the population is about to die. But what happens is, the main character stumbles upon, without giving too much away, I can't think of the actress's name.
I got it right here.
Yeah, read the summary. Maybe they do a better job of not spoiling it.
It's a really short summary, but this is set in 2027, so it's almost time.
Yeah, almost.
In a chaotic world in which women have become somehow infertile, a former activist agrees to help transport a miraculous pregnant woman to a sanctuary at sea.
Okay, so they do lead with that. Okay, yeah. So that's what it is. And that movie...
Julianne Moore.
Yeah, Julianne Moore. I was going to say Julia Roberts, but no. That movie, every action shot, a lot of the shots, especially the action ones, are all done in one shot. So there's no cutting.
Those.
It's kind of like The Revenant, where it's a lot of these long shots. It's very good. I highly recommend that as well.
I think that's one of the things that make John Wick a good action movie is the really well done single shot action scenes.
Oh yeah, because it requires like that choreography of all the actors, the camera being the cinematographer, knowing what's up, what's going to happen, everyone basically memorizing script and storyboards in their head. That's like the technicians, that's like the grip guy, that's like the audio dude. Everyone has to be on the same page for it to mesh and turn out really well. And
right, instead of just in post, just editing things.
Yeah. And that's why that one scene in Oldboy, the hallway scene, where he's breaking out and it's that giant fight scene. It's just one shot of the hallway of him just taking down all these guys. Is so epic because it's one shot. It's so iconic. And Children of Men, and that's all that movie is like it's practically one shot. Well, not all of it. There's some cuts, but
Right.
all the action scenes and moments, the key moments in that movie are all one shot, and it's awesome. So I highly recommend that one. It's also very topical as well.
We've got to stop with this. Here, let's give one recommendation. 6 recommendations later.
You sparked my mind though when you said that opening shot, and so I thought like one shot. I was like, wow, 30 minutes of just time. Well, that's really impressive. And then
that would have been really impressive, but that is not what we got.
Okay.
There had to have been hundreds of cuts in that scene.
See, that's like the opening to Black Panther was.
I didn't end up watching it.
Oh, it's really good, and I really like the soundtrack a lot because I love Kendrick Lamar, and he has like this really like hard hitting first song for the intro, but the intro, like the cuts are almost like timed with the beat, so they're like so quick and fast you can't see like what's actually happening. You kind of just have to assume that Black Panther is just punching the shit out of this one guy. You can't like see it and like feel it. So it was like really hard in the opening like 20 minutes to be like, what are my eyes doing right now? It's a great movie though. It's a good movie. Anyway, thank you all. Do you have any closing thoughts, Joshua?
I do not.
Thank you all for listening. If you've gotten this far in this podcast, thank you for listening to me bitch through most of it. I appreciate it. Joshua, thank you for listening to me bitch about it. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Oh, and one closing thought here.
Yes.
We also do the one shot here. Just one long shot. We don't cut anything. That's not true. Sometimes we cut
sometimes
a little bit,
cuts.
but we're on that same tier.
Oh yeah. Some would call us professionals, others amateurs, but we'll leave it at interpretation. That's what I would say. And also, I'm doing it tomorrow, guys. I'm setting up hosting for the podcast so we can have it on.
I thought you were taking tomorrow off.
I did say that, didn't I?
You did.
Maybe I'll do it today.
All right. Have fun, guys. Don't let the murder hornets get you.
What'd you say, murder hornet?
Yeah. Have you not seen this? We'll talk about it next week on the side table.
Okay. What a tease. Are you putting that in the notes so we remember?
Yes, right now.
Okay, cool. All right. Murder Hornets next week, guys. Have a good one. Cue that music, brother.